Okay, let's take a look at something. And by the way, here, and I caught something special with the D850. I caught a satellite. This is the image of the D850. This is the image with the XT-2. The only difference is I was using a 1.4 teleconverter on the back of the 600mm f4 to show how obnoxious it is. You can take a look here. We have the XT-2, the 600mm f4. Yeah, it's that obnoxious 1.4 teleconverter. So I had 840 millimeters at f5.6 on the XT2. And the XT2 is, of course, a 24 megapixel sensor. Nikon D850 is a 45 megapixel sensor, but since I obviously cropped the hell out of both shots, I do have a higher pixel density on the XT2 than I do on the Nikon D850, because in crop mode you take 45 megapixels divided by 2.25. In crop mode, the Nikon D850 is a 20 megapixel camera, the same thing as the Nikon D500. Obviously, so there's this advantage to the Fujifilm using the 1.4 teleconverter. But anyway, let's take a look at the images, and I'll show you, put the link below, and you can compare the two. And you can actually see right up here, I caught a satellite passing between my lens and the moon. Obviously, this black splotch right here, there's no snow. It's not a spot on my sensor. I can guarantee you that. Not the case. Not a bird. It's definitely not a bird. It's a satellite. Right here. I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, oh my god, I got a satellite. So here's a Nikon D850 image using the 600mm f4 Nikkor, the gigantic monster lens. And if you cross-compare the two, like I said, obviously the Fujifilm is using the 1.4 teleconverter. This image I like better. And this is taking the best out of 20 shots. 20 shots with the Fuji, 20 shots with the Nikon D850. And I actually like this shot better on the XT2 than I do on the Nikon D850. So all those people are like, oh, my XT2, it's an outdated camera, that Nikon D850 is not only a backside illuminated sensor. When you got really good lighting, and the moon is really good lighting, it's not an issue when you got good sensor saturation. So this notion of like, oh my god, I got an old inferior camera with a low megapixel. It's not low megapixel. Superficially, you would think that. And if you're using the entire frame of your sensor, that would be the case. I said the link for both of these are below. Look at this lens on the XT2. With peaking, it's like also too. Now, obviously, I was using this in manual focus. I had to on the Fuji, but it's like, well, which was easier, autofocus with the D850 or manual focus with the Fujifilm? Well, it was a lot easier with focus peaking on the Fujifilm. Because the moon's so bright and there's such low contrast, yeah, it's actually much easier on a non-moving object like that with a long lens with focus peaking to hit it than it is with the autofocus on the Nikon. So obviously that would be no good for moving subjects, but yeah, I actually like the Fujifilm image better. But it's like, well, it's a 45 megapixel sensor. It's like, yeah, but I cropped the heck out of the Nikon D850, even smaller than crop sensor. So I have effectively 4 megapixels. Well, I do have in crop sensor mode. I have 24 megapixels on the Fuji X-T2, or in crop mode, or effective crop mode. On the D850, I have 20 megapixels. So people don't realize that. It's like, well, it's a 45 plus megapixel sensor. Like, yeah, but when you crop it, it's 20 megapixels in crop mode. People fail to realize that. I like both images. I'm so surprised I caught a satellite right here, though. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and you have a lovely weekend. Thank you.